I just want to put some figures and then get you in, Mr. Dave. Hate on the rise. Hate speech cases are up from 993 in 2021 to now 1,444 in 22, and this is only as per an NCRB report of reported cases. 668 documented hate speech events against Muslims in 2023 alone, as per the India Hate Lab. 75% of these hate speeches took place in BJP-ruled states and UTs, 25% in opposition-ruled states. 36% hate speech events included a direct call of violence against Muslims, again source being the India Hate Lab, and 25% hate speech events called for targeting Muslim places of worship, and that's exactly what Nitesh Rane also did. Has hate got normalized, Dushyant Dave? There will be those watching this program and may even have the attitude that, look, you know, people have a right to vent. It seems it's got normalized, that this has become part of normal conversation. What was once seen as unacceptable has got normalized in the last decade. That's what critics say.
Rajdeep, before I answer that, let me read what Dr. Ambedkar had to say on 17th of December 1946 in his first statement before the Constituent Assembly when Constitution was being drafted. And he said this, which is really, it's a dire warning to us today. He said, I must confess that I am appalled at the idea that anybody in this country should think of solving the political problems of this country by the method of war. Then he says, if there is anybody who has in his mind the project of solving Hindu-Muslim problem by force, which is another name of solving it by war, in order that Muslims may be subjugated and made to surrender without their consent, this country would be involved perpetually in conquering them. Now, these are the words of Dr. Ambedkar on 17th, December 1946. Prime Minister and every leader of BJP constantly, speak about their reverence for Dr. Ambedkar. Why is it that they don't read Dr. Ambedkar? What did he want? What did he really feel?
May I ask you, Mr. Dave, what about the courts? Today there was an observation by Justice Gawai in the bulldozer justice case that even if someone is accused or convicted, you don't have the right to bulldoze his house without following due process. Why has the court not stopped it until now? We are in 2024. These bulldozers have been demolishing houses for the last 5 years. The hate speech has carried on and spiraled out of control in the last decade. Why does the court not act?
I must say that I am deeply disappointed with the Supreme Court because, and I have said so more often than not, if Supreme Court can take suo motu cognizance in an isolated rape and murder case of West Bengal and add fuel to the fire, by that suo motu action, they should have long acted upon these demolitions. Judges after judges have known. It was for the first time that, we moved the Supreme Court when, this Jahangirpuri incident took place before Justice Ramna. That was in 2022. We are in 2024. And for last 2 years, the matter had not even seen the light of the day. It was only when I mentioned it last week, again, before Honorable Justice Gawai. And I must say that Justices Gawai and Justice Vishwanathan have really taken it very seriously upon themselves to hear and resolve this issue. So, and the guidelines that they are proposing, like the Vishaka case, is something which will perhaps go a long way to resolving this issue. But I must confess, and I do agree with Mr. Jain, that the courts are also responsible. If the police is failing, the courts are certainly failing in not acting, in these kind of incidents immediately.
No, why? Why? Is it the law? What explains the unwillingness of the court to act? The law is straight. You've quoted Ambedkar for me. I can quote chapter and verse of what the law of the constitution of the country says. You cannot incite hate between communities is a well-known fact. Why does the court simply not throw the law book evenly at all?
The hate speeches are clearly actionable, and they are liable, to be people are liable to be prosecuted. But yes, even if when the police brings the case, you see, more often than not, the police does not bring the case before the court because of the political pressures. And as Mr. Jain said, rich and the powerful get away, and the powerful includes the politicians.
No, you see, sir, I can understand the rich and powerful. I will turn to what happened in the train incident in Dhule with an old man. Think about it. I want to play that visual because it is shocking. These were young people going for a police exam in Mumbai. What do? First, a fight over the seat. and then accuse the old man of carrying beef in his with him and start assaulting him. I mean, Najib Jung, you raised your hand. You see, it's one thing for the rich and powerful to get away. They'll get away in all cases. But I find ordinary people get away because they seem to believe they have the right, the impunity to get away, Mr. Jung.
One
by one. Let Mr. Jung come. Yes,
I raise my hand on the issue of courts. Look, the courts is one thing. The problem lies in the district administration. The problem lies with the SHOs. The problem lies with the collectors and the SPs and the DGPs who are heavily communalized today in this country. The divide is so deep. If you go into these WhatsApp groups of the IPS and the IAS officers, you will be ashamed. And unfortunately, that filth has not gone only into the civil services, it is also getting and penetrating into the armed forces. And this is the scheme of the last 10 years. So please wake up. It's just not the courts. The courts are 30 judges or 35 judges sitting. They can't do that on an everyday basis. The basic thing lies in the local thana.
No, you're saying that, sir, you're saying that, remember, you have been among the prominent Muslims who reached out to the RSS. Presumably, these were issues you raised with them as well. The fear that certain Hindutva groups could spiral out of control at times. What was the response at that time?
Oh, well, we have met and we are in touch with the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. In fact, we are in touch with the highest echelons, and we are repeatedly assured that they do not want this to be happening. Mm-hmm. We are repeatedly assured that this dialogue with them will continue. We must expand this dialogue, and it takes time for things to be sorted out. As far as I go, I have no doubts to believe that their intentions are kosher, but they request for time. The problem is not with the RSS today. Mm-hmm. The problem is that the foot soldiers are completely out of control. And
you're saying the problem is with the foot soldiers who are out of control. PK Jain, in that intervention by Najib Jung, he made an important point that the system has got communalized, that there are officers, be they collectors, be they senior police officers who've got communalized. So if people who are supposed to be the guardians, protectors, they get communalized, naturally people on the street believe that they have a license then. Is that a fear you have or not?
Rajdeep, I'm sorry, I would not believe in this kind of a generalization. Yes, individuals do get influenced by whatever is happening around them. They do get influenced by the social media and whatever they are reading. There's a lot of poison being spread in the social media and around us, but that does not affect everybody in the discharge of their duties. I can tell you one thing, I can dare speak about Maharashtra. See, any officer, if he has a law and order situation at hand, I have seen most of them acting very, very professionally. There's no reason and there's no way that they would be acting in favor of a particular community. So I would not agree with Mr. Jung about this. But yes, individually, there is a polarization of some thoughts, and that is happening everywhere. What? I can cite similar examples in the case of in the case of all the communities. It is not only one community, all the communities are getting affected.
Whether it is from any community, secondly, has to be condemned.
One more thing.
Yes, please go ahead.
Mr. Jung made a mention about the CM of Assam pointing out to a particular, calling out a reporter of a religious community. See what Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been doing. He's been calling out the names of every jati, in his entire Bharat Jodo Yatra. कौन सी जाति को हो, क्या करते हो, इसलिए तुम इस तरह के क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो. See, this rot is universal, and unfortunately, unless we start acting at the nick of the time, now is the time to act. Unfortunately, if this action is not taken, the things are going to go down very, very fast.
Okay, so I will give each of you 20 seconds each to tell me how would you act. Mob lynchers in Haryana, FIR filed, few people arrested. Nitesh Rane still is out there unapologetic. How would you act? Dushyant Dave, what would you do? How would you send? What is the exemplary punishment very quickly in a case like this?
Look, Rajdeep, nothing can be done today because I think these are instruments of state policy. And, the foot soldiers are only used by these powerful politicians who are constantly wanting to polarize the nation.
So you're saying there's no solution?
No, there can't be a solution if man at the topmost, at the highest level, is not willing to speak one word about it. Publicly chide his chief ministers, publicly tell his police officers that you stop this nonsense. How will the message go?
Okay.
It can't go by
so
some
you're
private
saying the man
discussion.
at the top has to send a powerful signal. Najib Jung, 20 seconds. What would you do? What's the way forward?
I would do what Sardar Patel told the superintendent of police in Delhi in 1947. If the riot doesn't stop, I'll sack you. The SP of any district that such an incident occurs should be sacked immediately.
Okay.
The collector should be sent on leave. And the next time it happens in the same state, the chief minister should be asked to leave.
Okay.
That is the way to go.
Okay. Mr. BK Jain, what's the solution, sir?
I would agree with Mr. Jung. The law and order is the joint responsibility of the DM and the SP. If the action is not taken, if they are found wanting in that action, right from the Thana to the SP and the DM, right from the Tehsildar to the DM, everybody should be taken to task, suspension, dismissal, whatever come what may.
Okay.
Strict action. If the administration wants, I can assure you, Rajdeep, nothing happens in a particular area.
I take your point, and I will tell you what my late grandfather, who was a distinguished police officer, Mr. Dave knows him well, he was in Gujarat, he said no riot takes place in this country without either the complicity or incompetence or both of those
Absolutely.
in office. And therefore, whether it is any administrative officer or any politician who is found wanting in his constitutional duty and allows people to get away with what Nitesh Rane has got away with, or with the mob lynchers of Haryana have got away with, or with those people who are on a train and attacked an old man. Unacceptable in a country like this. Is this the India we want? We tell Bangladesh and we lecture Bangladesh, and we need to get our act together, my friends. That's the least that we can expect from those in power at whatever level, in whichever state and whichever party they belong to. Wake up, India, before it is too late. Stop the hate. Stop normalizing hate is all we can say.